Have you ever wanted to start all over again? I'm sure we've all had moments that we wish we could go back to. Moments we wish were different, but we can't because the past is in the past and that won't change. But maybe it doesn't need to. While we always wish we could undo the past, it's not as simple as that. Going back to fix the mistakes you've made just doesn't work. But does that mean that nobody gets a second chance? A second chance is offered to all, but whether we take it or not, well, that's up to us. In this story, we're going to view a world where Naruto, knowing everything he knows now, gets to restart from the beginning. So please, grab a seat, grab some popcorn, and relax. We're gonna view another dream world where Naruto got to restart with all of his memories. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of this video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Naruto and Hinata both floated through the dimension known as Daikokuten. In this realm, it seemed that time didn't pass. Nothing here aged or got worse for wear, and that included Naruto and Hinata. Not to say it didn't feel like a long time. Both were unconscious and left with only their thoughts after their imprisonment. As Naruto floated, he began to feel like it might be the end. And in a fashion as many people do, he went over his life up until that point, reviewing it, all its ups and downs, everything that was happy and everything that was sad. Among all of these, however, remained a question. Knowing everything he knew now, if he were to go back in time to the start of his journey, what would he do differently? Now, with a new muse to spend most of his time engaging with, Naruto's mind began to follow the thread deeper into his unconscious state, and began to dream. His eyes opened. He gasped as if he had been underwater for quite some time. As he looked around, he realized where he was. He was on Hokage Rock, suspended by a rope. "Why am I using a rope? Why don't I just walk over its surface?" he questioned. He then heard a voice. "Hey, what do you think you're doing, you little rat?" Naruto looked down to see a mob of angry villagers. He then noticed that he himself was holding a paint bucket. What? He then looked over and realized that he had just defaced the Hokage monument again. His eyes widened in shock. "Why would I do this?" He then began to lower down again. As he did, however, he saw Shinobi running across the face of the monument in his direction. In terror, Naruto jumped from the rope he was attached to and attempted to wall run. At first, he slipped a little, but he managed to get a grip on the wall before him and began to run. As he ran, he shouted back behind him, "I'm sorry, I don't know what happened." All the same, they called out to him, "Get back here, you little urchin." Naruto attempted to run. He hit the ground and rushed past the angry mob. "This is just like back when I was a kid." That was when he noticed his stature. "Wait, I am a kid. What's going on here?" Suddenly, he would smash into Iruka and get knocked back. Naruto looked up at the man with confusion. Iruka was about to blow, so Naruto threw his defenses up. Suddenly, Iruka exploded like a volcano. "Naruto!" After this, Naruto slowly lowered his defenses, but to his surprise, Iruka was still upset. "You're gonna fix this, Naruto," he shouted at the boy. Naruto looked back at the monument and saw that it was covered in graffiti. This was just like it was back when he was a kid. Wait, this is exactly like it was when he was a kid. But how? Was this a memory? A dream? "Yes, Iruka-sensei, I'll clean up my mess. I'm sorry." Iruka's angered expression took on a softer, more confused appearance. For the rest of that day, Naruto spent his time cleaning off the monument. Considering that there were only 4 faces right now instead of 7, he knew that this meant that he had somehow returned to the past. I wonder what all would have happened if I had chosen differently, he began to think. He had yet to realize that this idea was one he had brought with him from the real world into this world of dreams. He decided to run with it as it happened. As a reward for his hard work, Iruka took Naruto out to Ichiraku Ramen. There, Naruto got his favorite meal and nearly swallowed it whole. "You're hungry today," Iruka said with a bit of a smile. Naruto nodded. "Just got done working hard." He looked at Iruka. "Hey, can I try on your headband?" Iruka shook his head. "No, this is something you gotta earn. But don't worry, you'll get your chance. For now, would you settle for another bowl of ramen?" Naruto smiled. "Bring it on." Immediately thereafter, Naruto was transported further into his dream. He was taken to a point where he was getting ready for his test to become a genin, but he messed it up. He looked back and saw the sad excuse for a clone. Naruto almost wanted to cry, but he didn't, not in front of the whole class. He ran out of the room. He was embarrassed, but as he thought about it, he remembered that this had happened in the past as well. He wondered what else might happen. As he sat around though, he was approached by Mizuki. Naruto immediately recognized him. Mizuki began to talk with him, telling him about how it wasn't Naruto's fault that he had failed, but because of the way everyone treated him, and that it really had to do with the fear at his superior being. He then began to hint around at an easy way to power. Naruto knew what this was about. He played along though to make sure that his suspicions were still correct. Mizuki then told him of a secret scroll that, when uncovered, could grant power even beyond that of the Hokage. Mizuki had planted the knowledge in Naruto's brain, intending for him to try and take it so that Mizuki could steal it back and use it to bargain with Orochimaru. And so, as soon as Mizuki left, Naruto would find Iruka and tell him about the strange encounter he had with Mizuki. Iruka would, at first, be fairly surprised at Mizuki and the concept. A part of him lashed out at Naruto for trying to besmirch Mizuki's good name. But then again, he had heard rumors of things Mizuki had done on mission, such as mercilessly killing his teammates. Of course, that was conjecture, and nobody could prove it per se. They had the body of the teammate, but never once had they been able to find beyond a shadow of a doubt that Mizuki was the one responsible for his death. Either way, Iruka kept the information close to him, and given that Naruto didn't go after the scroll but instead practiced the ninjutsu he wanted to learn, Mizuki had no choice but to try and take it himself. Because Naruto had told Iruka, Iruka knew and told Hiruzen, who would send out a search party after Mizuki to capture him and stop him from taking the scroll to Orochimaru. After that, Mizuki was captured, and Naruto would be commended for informing them of Mizuki's treason. Naruto would then try again, and because he remembered how to do the multi-shadow clone jutsu, he immediately passed and became a genin. Iruka congratulated him on a job well done and would take him out once again to Ichiraku Ramen for something to eat to celebrate. After this, Naruto would return to his home and contemplate what would happen next. He knew that now he was a genin, he'd be assigned to a team. Then remembered he'd be assigned to Team 7 under Kakashi Hatake, as well as be placed on the same team as Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto originally hadn't wanted anything to do with Sasuke, but now all he could do was recall fond memories. Naruto was excited to be back on the same team as Sakura and Sasuke again. And so, as the day came that he should meet his team, he would walk into the room and be greeted by Sakura and Sasuke. Well, greeted is a bit of a stretch. Sasuke didn't care, and Sakura was too preoccupied with Sasuke to care, but he was just glad to be on the same team as them now. Naruto sat patiently and waited for Kakashi to show up. As the door opened, Kakashi stepped in and introduced himself as their Jonin. I am Kakashi Hatake, and I'm your Jonin and commanding officer. If you listen to what I tell you, you might get to come home in one piece. Now, come on, let's get out of this stuffy room and into the sun. They followed Kakashi out of the room and outside. Kakashi took a deep breath of the fresh air and let out a sigh. Ah, that's more like it. He leaned up against the rail. So, tell me about yourselves. Naruto got to start, and most everything he said remained the same. Sakura said the same as she had said before, as did Sasuke. But as Sasuke said what he said, Naruto remembered what would become of him, and he began to feel a bit more sorrowful. Kakashi noticed this and commented, "Yeah, his dream seems like a real downer, doesn't it?" Sasuke scoffed. "I don't recall asking any of you to care." Kakashi pointed at him. "You were right about that, my good sir. Your business is yours. I couldn't care less either way." Kakashi stretched. "Now, I think we need to move on. Before I officially take you on as my students, I want to test you out." So he led them into the forest where Naruto realized what was going on. Kakashi turned around and displayed 2 bells. "Your objective is to take these from me by any means necessary. Failure to do so will see you return to the academy. Whoever doesn't get a bell by the end of the time limit will be sent home and will have their geninship revoked. Back to school, in other words. Do you understand?" Naruto nodded. "Good, then let's begin." As the team prepared to run off after Kakashi, Naruto caught Sakura and Sasuke by the collars. This nearly led to Sasuke decking him, but Naruto didn't flinch. "We can't just rush at him. We gotta plan this out and work as a single unit. Teamwork is the meaning of the test, so we gotta work as a team." And so they began to put together a plan. As Kakashi waited for them, he was impressed to see them talking to each other and conveying plans. It seemed that they were already utilizing the lesson he was trying to teach them. Time to test out if their plan is good enough. He raced off into the forest. They weren't far behind. As they ran, he led them through the forest into an opening. Here he stopped. This is where they would spring their trap. Naruto pointed to a small lake. "Sakura, see that lake there? Go in it. Use the hollow reeds to keep breathing while you're underwater. There you'll wait. As you wait, me and Sasuke will attack Kakashi and push him closer to the lake. Then you just gotta reach your hand out and grab the bells." Sakura's face turned up into a sort of snarl. "Why do I have to be the one who goes underwater?" she asked. "Because I know how to use multi-shadow clone jutsu and because Sasuke has the Sharingan." How do you know I have the Sharingan? Sasuke asked. Naruto looked over. He wasn't sure how to respond. You're an Uchiha, right? Don't the Uchiha have the Sharingan? Not all of them, Sasuke said. There was some awkward silence that passed by for the span of 5 seconds before Naruto asked, "Do you have the Sharingan?" Sasuke nodded. Well, then that settles it, Naruto said. With his eyes and with my clones, we can start pushing Kakashi back toward you. Once he's within your range, just reach up. Fine, Sakura said. She didn't seem too pleased with the plan, but she couldn't deny that it made sense. And so, as Kakashi wasn't paying attention, she slipped under the water and began to make her way to the other side of the lake, closest to Kakashi. There she waited as Naruto and Sasuke appeared before him. We'll have those bells, he said. Sasuke, to make sure that nothing seemed out of place, summoned a clone of his own, which he then proceeded to make look like Sakura. Sasuke's Sharingan awakened as Naruto summoned his multi-shadow clones. Together they all rushed toward Kakashi, striking at him. Kakashi was pushed back toward the lake, slowly but surely. Once he was there, Sakura reached up, grabbed the bells, and pulled on them hard enough to get him. Once she had them, she came out of the water jumping and screaming happily. I did it! I did it! I got the bells! I got them! Naruto also celebrated while Sasuke sort of just stood there with a smug look on his face. Kakashi couldn't help but smile, but his test wasn't completely over. Congratulations, gang. But don't forget what I said. Anyone who doesn't have a bell by the end of the time loses and will be sent back to the academy. Sakura quickly counted the bells. But there's only 2 here. There are 3 of us. How do we decide who gets the bells and who doesn't? Sasuke thought about it. We could play evens and odds. Naruto shook his head. No, I volunteer to go back. Sasuke and Sakura looked at him. You don't have to do that, Naruto. I'll go back, Sakura said. Sasuke thought about it. To be honest, my shinobi career isn't that important to me, so I'm just as fine going back to the village alone. Kakashi smiled and waved his hands. It's fine, gang. That was a test too. You can stay my genin. Team 7 let out a collective sigh. Kakashi then welcomed them all on the team, reminding them that while a shinobi who doesn't follow the rules may be trash indeed, a shinobi who leaves behind even one of his friends is worse than trash. And from there, the team goes on about their daily duties, which is no more than some training and chores around the village. This, of course, is boring to Naruto, but Naruto knows that there's a mission just around the corner, and that the next time they meet with Hiruzen, Naruto is sure to try and convince the elderly man to give them a job worth having. Hiruzen responds by giving them the Land of Waves mission, just as he had hoped, and so they get to prepare for it. They're all sent home, and Naruto packs only the bare essentials. He then proceeds to enter his own subconscious to try and communicate with the Ninetales. He manages to reach it. He sees it glaring at him from within the cage. As hostile as ever, huh? Despite the Ninetales' attitude, Naruto manages to get a handle on his version 1 cloak earlier on because he knows what he's doing. As the next day comes, Naruto meets back up with his team, and they all begin to make their way to the Land of Waves. As they do so, Naruto knows when every attack is coming. So when they see a pool of water in the middle of the road, Naruto knows that the demon brothers aren't far away. He gets ready for them by pulling a kunai from his holster. As the 2 shinobi appear from the puddle, Naruto flings his kunai at a tree and pins the chain that the demon brothers plan to use as a means of cooperative attack. Instead, Naruto activates his version 1 cloak and proceeds to knock them both out rather easily. Team 7 and Tazuna are both astounded by the way that Naruto handled that, all while Naruto insists that they should continue on before it gets too dark. As they move on, they find Zabuza. Kakashi, however, gets caught in a water prison, and Naruto decides that all he needs to do is overpower his opponent. After all, Zabuza can't move while he's utilizing the water prison technique. So Naruto activates his version 1 chakra cloak and summons multiple shadow clones, which would team up with him to force Zabuza back. It would succeed, as so many Jinchuriki coming at you in swarms would be very hard to defend against without moving. After Zabuza is pushed back, he's almost immediately intercepted by Haku. Kakashi tells them to let the Hunter Nin do his duty, though Naruto knows it isn't a Hunter Nin. As the Hunter Nin leaves, Naruto speaks up. Kakashi-sensei, I don't think that was a real Hunter Nin. Kakashi looks down. You don't? Naruto shook his head. He didn't dispose of the body. Instead, he took it with him. Don't you find that peculiar? Kakashi nods. At that moment, Kakashi seems to keel over from chakra loss. He has Naruto and Sasuke train together during this time to perfect their surface running techniques and chakra control. Naruto, at this time, doesn't seem to have any issues with his control, though he kind of fakes it because he knows that soon Haku will be here, and maybe he can talk to him. And so, Naruto feigns training so hard that he falls asleep in the flowers. Not long after, he wakes up and sees Haku there. Hi, he says. I'm Naruto. The boy smiles. Hi, Naruto. I'm Haku. Haku, can I be honest with you? Haku was a little weirded out by this. Okay? Naruto then speaks. I know you're the masked guy who took Zabuza today. Haku's face almost displays terror, but then he controls himself. I think you might have me mixed up with someone else. Naruto shakes his head. No, I know I'm right. You see, you and Zabuza are close. This is because after you were treated very badly for having a Kekai Genkai, you were alone. Zabuza took you in to use as a tool, but deep down you're more than a tool to him. You're almost like a son, even if he doesn't admit it. Haku's face displayed terror at how Naruto could possibly know this. Haku pulls out Senbon to kill Naruto with, but Naruto catches his wrist and forces him to drop them. Listen, I know you two are getting paid by Gato to stop the bridge from being built, but you both need to know that if you go to the bridge and try to kill the workers, you're gonna die. So please, for the love of mercy, don't go to the bridge. Haku pulls back and looks at Naruto for a moment and then turns around and rushes off. Naruto sits there and hopes that Haku takes his advice. As the time comes that they go to the bridge, Naruto is a bit nervous. After all, he remembers what will happen if they show up, but as the day passes, neither Zabuza nor Haku appear. Instead, Gato comes alone with his little group of mercenaries. They come to threaten, but Kakashi is there with them. He utilizes the multi-shadow clone jutsu, as does Naruto, and with their miniature army, as well as a little help from the locals, they manage to push back Gato and his goons. The bridge is completed. Kakashi explains to Team 7 that now that the bridge is finished, Gato's crime syndicate in the Land of Waves is practically over. The people will be able to buy and sell according to their needs, which will rejuvenate their economy and allow them to be able to pay for more protection to rid themselves of the crime lord. Bidding goodbye to the Land of Waves, they begin to make their way back to the village again. There, they are debriefed on the situation. Kakashi informs Hiruzen that his students managed to handle a Chunin level mission without much issue. Because of that, Hiruzen decides to allow them to partake in the upcoming Chunin exams. Naruto already knows this, however, and he begins to search out the very important players who will appear. He finds Gaara and his siblings, and later finds Rock Lee as well, but he has a harder time finding Orochimaru. Since he can't get a bead on Orochimaru, he decides to practice more of his techniques in this form so he can be ready for him. He knows of at least one place where he can defeat him. He merely needs to do so. Naruto begins to foster his strength, increasing in power. Since he can't rely upon Kurama at this juncture, Naruto begins to sort of teach himself to once again achieve Sage Mode. Since Sage Mode is superior to the version 1 cloak, and is more comparable to the version 2 cloak, he knows that with it he might be able to get close to Orochimaru's level of strength by simply using it. While at it, he recalls how to make a Rasengan. This training before the Chunin exams helps Naruto knock the rust off his powers. While doing so, he begins to foster his relationship with Kurama as well, knowing that in the future he'll likely need it. Not that he expects it to happen anytime soon though. For now, he focuses on Sage Mode. After Kakashi gives them the go-ahead, they all sign up for the Chunin exams. For Naruto, it is paramount that they defeat Orochimaru now, because if they can't, Sasuke will leave the village, and Naruto knows that there's a possibility that he can stop that. So, as the Chunin exams begin, Naruto recalls how the written test went. Naruto looks over every question and finds out that a good few of them he can actually answer. He attributes this to his position as Hokage, but in the end, the only question that really matters is the final one. And so, when that's asked, Naruto accepts it, and in doing so he passes, just as he hoped he would. This was all easy peasy to him, but the next part of the test is what is most important here. Here, Naruto knows Orochimaru will make his play on them, and so Naruto goes along with the way things went last time, except he's sure to use the bathroom before they enter the Forest of Death. This way, he doesn't get separated from his team. He manages to stay close to them the whole time, and not long after, they get attacked by Orochimaru, who utilizes his killing intent. Sasuke is paralyzed and Sakura almost seems to pass out. Naruto can feel the gaze on him, but his determination pushes him through. Taking a deep breath, he activates Sage Mode and rushes Orochimaru. Orochimaru is surprised to see someone so young having already mastered Sage Mode, a technique even he couldn't achieve. Naruto forms a Rasengan and smashes it into Orochimaru's chest, sending him flying back into a tree. Sasuke and Sakura are both astounded by what they see. Orochimaru manages to get up on his feet, but before he can do much, Naruto is on him again. Naruto keeps up the pressure to ensure that Orochimaru doesn't get away. Orochimaru is just getting pummeled at this point. He hadn't expected a bunch of children to be able to put up a fight like this. He would suddenly get serious. He would reach out and catch Naruto's hand and would use it to knock him back. As he does so, Orochimaru sinks into a tree. Naruto then turns to run towards Sasuke, sensing something. Getting to Sasuke, he reaches out and grabs a snake before it bites his neck. He tosses the snake into the forest. Sasuke looks at him and asks him flatly, "How did you learn to do this stuff?" Naruto looks at him. An old toad taught me." Sasuke seems unimpressed by the answer, but honestly, it was the truth. Naruto had learned this from an old toad, just not in this world. Together, Team 7 manages to take the scroll that they need and make their way to the building at the center of the forest, where they're congratulated by Iruka. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura then move on to the exhibition matches. Through these matches, not much changes. Sasuke simply wins more easily because he can use ninjutsu after not being branded by Orochimaru. Naruto is naturally stronger and Sakura hasn't changed at all. And so with that, the first round of the Chunin exams ends. They're given a month off to train, and Naruto knows that he needs to foster his relationship with Jiraiya. So he searches out Jiraiya and lets Jiraiya make the observation that Naruto is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. But unexpectedly, Jiraiya makes the observation that Naruto also seems to know everything that will happen. Naruto informs Jiraiya that he's lived through this life once before and remembers what happened. Ooh, be very careful with that, Naruto. Even if you try to change things for the better, be aware that the butterfly effect exists too. Naruto nods. I understand, Pervy Sage. There's not much training that needs to happen during this time since Naruto is already way ahead of the curve, but he does inform Jiraiya that Orochimaru is here in the village. When Jiraiya asks where, Naruto tells him that he's not sure. However, on the day of the finals, Orochimaru will be in the Hokage's viewing box, disguised as Rasa, the Kazekage. He tells Jiraiya to stick with Hiruzen, as if he doesn't, Hiruzen will die. So Jiraiya agrees. And on the day that the finals begin, Naruto has his match with Neji, and Sasuke begins his match against Gaara. Halfway through though, Sasuke accidentally, or perhaps quite purposefully, hurts Gaara, causing Gaara to have a mental breakdown. Naruto remembers what happens next. He closes his eyes so he doesn't see the Genjutsu being cast. After that, it is cast, and he hears the explosion from the Kage's box, and suddenly sees Hiruzen and Jiraiya escape, followed closely after by Orochimaru. Naruto rushes off to help Sasuke, knowing that his friend will die without his help. As Orochimaru chases after Jiraiya, the Sound Four appear to aid Orochimaru in battle by using the Four Violet Flames formation to seal them in, and keep everyone else out. It's okay, Sensei, Jiraiya says. I'm with ya. We'll defeat Orochimaru together this time. Orochimaru stands there, confident against them. You seem awfully confident for a man outnumbered 2-1, Jiraiya says. Orochimaru laughs. Outnumbered 2-1. Perhaps you should check the odds. Suddenly, two coffins rise up. From within come two people, the Edo Tensei forms of Hashirama Senju and Tobirama Senju. As the two Senju brothers have their personalities suppressed, Orochimaru sends them out to fight against Hiruzen and Jiraiya. Jiraiya looks to his old mentor. Call up Enma. He'll be able to even the odds a bit. Hiruzen nods and does as asked. When Enma appears, he's startled to see the first and second Hokage standing against him, but Jiraiya informs him that these are reanimated corpses and that they're no longer displaying the personalities of the two Hokage. Enma understands. Jiraiya looks to Hiruzen. Let me deal with Orochimaru. Hiruzen shakes his head. No, I trained Orochimaru. I should be the one to deal with him. Jiraiya shakes his head as well. You trained me too, Hiruzen. Let me do this for you. Hiruzen looks to Jiraiya. All of those years ago, I let Orochimaru escape when I should have killed him. All of the people he's killed since then are on my hands. I need to do this. Jiraiya couldn't stop him. The best he could do was defend him from the Edo Tensei, so that's what he did. As Hiruzen faces off against Orochimaru, however, it becomes increasingly obvious that he can't do it alone, and that he's intending to die with Orochimaru. Jiraiya chooses not to stop his master. Hiruzen utilizes the Reaper Death Seal to seal away the spirits of Hashirama and Tobirama Senju, before he attempts to do the same to Orochimaru. And though he's not strong enough to do so on his own, Jiraiya walks over and gives him some of his own chakra to give him strength. Finally, Orochimaru's soul is ripped from his body. He falls lifeless, and Hiruzen is soon to follow. Jiraiya walks to his mentor and holds his corpse one final time before letting him go. Thanks for everything, Sensei. Elsewhere, Naruto manages to defeat Gaara and begins to explain to him his own suffering, telling him that he knows what it's like. This causes Gaara to have a change of heart. Gaara is taken by his siblings back to Suna. Later, Naruto meets up with Jiraiya again, only to learn that Hiruzen is dead. Wait, what? What happened? Jiraiya then speaks. He used the Reaper Death Seal. Naruto was halfway to ripping out his own hair. And why didn't you stop him? Jiraiya tries to calm his student by placing his gentle hand upon his shoulder. Hiruzen had already made up his mind. He wanted to do it, and it wasn't my place to tell him no. What we need to do now is not focus on the fact that Hiruzen's dead, but that he defeated Orochimaru. Now we need to try and figure out who else would fit best as next Hokage. Naruto thought about it. I think I know one. Elsewhere, the Sound Four walked. During the nighttime, they had taken a hostage and were now making their way through a dimly lit forest. They made it to an old shrine bearing the Uzumaki clan symbol on it. Stepping inside, they would reach for the mask detailed by Orochimaru. Taking it, they were then ready to begin. They ripped the bag off the head of their captive to show that it was Anko Mitarashi. "You sure this'll work, Kimimaro?" Kinamaru asks. Kimimaro nods. "When I finish the release, activate her seal." The Sound 4 nod. Kimimaro stands there and looks at them one last time. He then puts on the mask, summons the Shinigami, carves open his own stomach, and falls to the ground and dies. After that, they inject Anko with something, and suddenly her curse mark begins to react. She cries out as the genetic information of Orochimaru within the seal propagates throughout the rest of her body, Orochimaru's soul and mind invading her own. And a moment later, the struggle stops. The Sound 4 stand there silently. "Is that you, Lord Orochimaru?" Slowly, the figure looks up with a smile. And that's where I'm planning to stop for the day. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when more videos like this drop. And while you wait, try checking out these videos here. Until next time, peace out.